Hare Krishna. We are reading Srimad Bhagvatam, first canto, 9th chapter, starting from 41 verse today. So, would someone like to read it?
I can try, Mataji.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Muni Gana Nirpa. No, not this time. Muni Gana Nirpavan. Muni Gana Nirpavarya Shankulentaha.
Gananripavarya Kulenita
Sadasi Yudhishtara Rajasuya Esham.
Sadasi Yudhishthira Rajasuya Esham
Arhanam Upadade Ikshaniyo.
Pepeda Ikshaniyo
Mam drishti gochar eva avir atma.
Mama Drishigochar Esha Averatma.
Translation. At the Rajasuya Yagna sacrifice performed by Maharaj Yudhishthira, there was the greatest assembly of all the elite men of the world, the royal and learned orders. And in that great assembly, Lord Sri Krishna was worshipped by one and all as the most exalted personality of Godhead. This happened during my presence, and I remembered the incident in order to keep my mind upon the Lord. Purport. After gaining victory in the battle of Kurukshetra, Maharaj Yudhishthira, the emperor of the world, performed the Rajasuya sacrificial ceremony. The emperor in those days, upon his ascendance to the throne, would send a challenge horse all over the world to declare his supremacy. And any ruling prince or king was at liberty to accept the challenge and express his, how to say this, take it? I don't know. Mataji, how? Prabhuji, anybody? This? Okay. His take it willingness either to obey or to disobey the supremacy of the particular emperor. One who accepted the challenge had to fight with the emperor and establish his own supremacy by victory. The defeated king would have to sacrifice his life, making a place for another king or ruler. So Maharaj Yudhishthira also dispatched such challenging horses all over the world. And every ruling prince and king all over the world accepted Maharaj Yudhishthira's leadership as the emperor of the world. After this, all rulers of the world under the regime of Maharaj Yudhishthira were invited to participate in the great sacrificial ceremony of Rajasuya. Such performances required hundreds of millions of dollars, and it was not an easy job for a petty king. Such a sacrificial ceremony, being too expensive and also difficult to perform under present circumstances, is now impossible in the age of Kali. Nor can anyone secure the required expert priesthood to take charge of the ceremony. Okay. So we just want to explain this, this paragraph. Here it's about that how the kings were in that time, and when the king used to send the the challenges, challenging horses to the other to the all around the world, and to send this message through the horses to the emperors or the prince or kings to have a fight or a battle with Yudhishthira Maharaj. And that's if they want to if they do not want to accept him as a leader or the emperor of the world, then they were invited they were asked to accept this challenge and fight. And if they lose, then they have to sacrifice their life, and their kingdom will also be owned by that king who wins the battle. So here in Yudhishthira Maharaj case, when he sent those horses, then but the other kings and princes of the world, they accepted him as the emperor. So there were no they didn't accept the challenge. And then after that, when he performed the Rajasuya Yagya, uh, this sacrificial ceremony, then he invited all those kings. And but it's mentioned here about those ceremonies, that how expensive those that used to be that time. And but it's not possible in the age of Kali, because one thing, it's very expensive, and the second is there is no learned priest who can perform such ceremonies now. And that's all is explained here. Mataji, Prabhuji, anybody wants to share something here? I'm sure I must have missed a lot, but I just explained what I read so that I can go ahead. Okay, so shall I continue? Okay. So after being invited, all the kings and great learned sages of the world assembled in the capital of Maharaj Yudhishthira. The learned society, including the great philosophers, religionists, physicians, scientists, and all great sages, were invited. That is to say, the Brahmanas and the Kshatriya were the topmost leading men in society, and they were all invited to participate in the assembly. The Vaishyas and Shudras were unimportant elements in society, and they are not mentioned herein. Due to the change of social activities in the modern age, the importance of men has also changed in terms of occupational position. Okay, so as we know that these four varnas like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Shudra, and Vaishyas were known by their um, their occupation. But now, like in the old time, the Brahmanas were to teach, and the Shastras, the Kshatriyas were to fight and keep the place safe, and from the dangers, or from other enemies. And the Vaishyas were for business, and to I don't know, like for business only, Vaishyas, as far as I understand. And Shudras were those who were working under uh, the Brahmanas and others, and they were doing the least work in the society. But in the modern age, this thing has been changed. Now it's not as per the caste. Like in the previous age, the Brahmanas, if the if somebody is born in the Brahmanic family, they had to follow the same occupation. Same was the case with Kshatriyas and Vaishyas and Shudras. But now this has been changed. The Brahmanas are doing some other jobs, and Kshatriyas are, it's so there is no proper caste system nowadays. People have changed it their as per their comfort, or as per the society, people are following it. So nowadays, what we call it, this varnashrama, actually has a very different sense than what we had in previous time. So this is explained here. And in this Rajasuya, Rajasuya, if I'm saying it correctly, that ceremony, actually the Shudras were not invited, because that time the Brahmanas and the Kshatriya used to be considered the topmost leaders in the society. So they were invited, but the Vaishyas and Shudras were unimportant elements that time. So they were not invited in this. But and then later Prabhupada after this explains that how this has been changed in the Kali Yuga. And so now it's just absolutely different than what we used to follow that time. So anybody wants to share something here? Otherwise I can continue. Okay. So in the great assembly, Lord Shri Krishna was the, Mataji, can you help me with this word here?
I think Mataji, it's Sinosaur.
What it means, Mataji?
And just like, I think it means something very attractive.
Very attractive.
Pata nahi mujhe, but I think it's like the center of attraction or something.
Okay. Sri Krishna was the cynosure of neighboring eyes. Everyone wanted to see Lord Krishna and everybody wanted to pay him humble respect to the Lord. Bhishma Deva remembered all this and was glad that his worshipful Lord, the personality of Godhead, was present before him in his actual formal presence. So to meditate on the Supreme Lord is to meditate on the activities, form, pastime, name and fame of the Lord. That is easier than what is imagined as meditation on the impersonal feature of the Supreme. In the Bhagavad Gita 12.5, it is clearly stated that to meditate upon the impersonal feature of the Supreme is very difficult. It is practically no meditation or simply a waste of time because very seldom is the desired result obtained. The devotees, however, meditate upon the Lord's factual form and pastime, and therefore the Lord is easily approachable by the devotees. This is also stated in Bhagavad Gita 12.9. The Lord is non-different from his transcendental activities. It is indicated also in the shloka that Lord Shri Krishna, while actually present before human society, especially in connection with the Battle of Kurukshetra, was accepted as the greatest personality of the time, although he might not have been recognized as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The propaganda that a very great man is worshipped as a god The propaganda that a very great man is worshipped as God after his death is misleading because a man after his death cannot be made into God, nor can the personality of Godhead be a human being, even when he is personally present. Both ideas are misconceptions. The idea of anthropomorphism cannot be applicable in the case of Lord Krishna. So I really don't know the meaning of this word. So I don't know. But here's something what I understood with this paragraph that Prabhupada is trying to say, that everybody after that, when Lord Shri Krishna was there, everybody paid obeisances and everybody wanted to see Lord Krishna there, and he was present there in his actual, and Bhishma Deva remembered this as well and was glad that his worshipable Lord, the Lord personality of Godhead, present before him in his actual formal presence. So I think before this, Bhishma Deva saw him in the battlefield as a Sarthi, but now he saw Lord Shri Krishna in his formal presence. So he was feeling very, very, very happy and glad. And here Prabhupada is saying that it's very easy to meditate on Supreme Lord through Bhakti Yoga, rather doing all the Ashtanga Yogas, trying to meditate on something impersonal Brahman, something void, is very, very difficult. And sometimes the result after doing this very seldom is desired result obtained. So sometimes people spend a lot of time of their life, but they do not get the desired result because they try to meditate on something void. But when you have a deity in front of you, when you know that what is your goal, when you know that you are whom you are thinking about and what is the purpose, then it is easy to meditate upon. And it is very practical also. Like, say, if you close your eyes and if you don't have anything to meditate upon, it's just gets very confusing. It's like all dark. But if you just open your eyes and see the deity and then try to think about the deity and think about the past times, then you have a lot to think about and to meditate upon and to praise or praise the beauty of the Lord, praise, sing the songs of the Lord, for bhajans of the Lord, and then discuss the pastimes of the Lord. But in case of, in terms of impersonal Brahman, I'm just sharing my thoughts that, you don't have, you're talking about something which you say it's void. You're talking about something which you try to concentrate on some light, which is so difficult because you have not seen with the open eyes. It's so difficult to see something with the closed eyes. And it's not, I'm not sharing because I try to meditate, but I also tried this. When I chant and try to close my eyes, my just mind goes, in different directions. If you try to close your eyes, then you just, it just works, I don't know, in a very different manner. But if you open your eyes and you have a deity, or you have a picture of Krishna in front of you, or you have a Maha Mantra Hare Krishna in front of you, then reading that or chanting and looking at Krishna, actually you kind of can focus. So that is very true. I mean, in my case, I tried doing this and tried some yoga classes also before, but yeah, until it's just only physical, this meditating part is little tricky and difficult. But I'm sure people are able to achieve, but I'm just sharing on my level. And so I agree here with Prabhupada that meditating on Krishna, when you have a picture, or you know where you are going, but you know what the goal, where you are, whom you're chasing, whom you're trying to love, whom you're trying to reach, to whom you're talking about, reading about, it's more important, it's much easier to meditate upon. And then here Prabhupada is saying that the Krishna's pastimes and Krishna forms is actually non-different than Krishna. So just meditating on his pastimes is also meditating on the Lord. And this is also stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is non-different from his transcendental activities. So it is indicated, okay, and actually present before human society, especially in connection with the, and here it's in the shloka that Lord Shri Krishna, while actually present before the human society. So during this battle of Kurukshetra, the Pandavas and everybody could see, and even those fighters, those soldiers in the battlefield could see the Krishna right in front of him, front of them, as a like face to face. And Bhishma Deva could also see God, especially in the connection. Okay, and although might not have, yeah. And Prabhupada is saying here that accepted the greatest personality of that time, and that time also Krishna was praised, because Pandavas knew that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. But even those who were not able to realize him, they also knew it, that he is something. And although they were not able to recognize Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead, as we discussed, like how Duryodhana very many times tried to think that he's guiding, Krishna is guiding Pandavas, and he's always there, and he's tried to rescue them or save them from all these dangers. But it was very difficult for him to actually realize this, or to confess this, or to agree with this, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Otherwise we would not have done all these stuff which he actually did. So this also makes it very clear that it's not necessary for people to agree with the Lord, even if Lord comes in front of them, because if they do not want to believe, they will not believe. And Krishna gives this freedom to everybody to to realize him as the supreme personality of Godhead. But at the same time, he gives this independence and freedom also, that if you do not want to accept him as a supreme lord, then it's your choice. So same was the case with Duryodhana and other many people in that in Kauravas, that they were not ready to accept him as a supreme personality of Godhead. And this line, I'm little confused, that propaganda that a very great man is worshipped as God after his death is misleading, because a man after his death cannot be made into a God. So yeah, I mean, it's a true statement, but I don't know how to explain this. But yes, if you cannot accept something when it's in front of you, then to accept it's is somebody as a God, or as a lord, is very difficult, because then people throw different arguments, and then all these learned people come, and then they can give you all other logics to not to understand that about these, that he was a lord. So nor can the personality of Godhead be a human. And then it's difficult for people. Actually, people say that that's why people try to meditate on impersonal Brahman, because they say that Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be a person. But Prabhupada, in all his purpose and all in Bhagavad Gita, few chapters, he has very specifically mentioning this and emphasizing on this point that Krishna is a person. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then people got difficult for them that if he is God, then he cannot be human. But Prabhupada actually clarifies this in Bhagavad Gita and in Bhagvatam also, that he is a person, and that is why we are from his that is why we are his servitors, and that is why we also are a part and parcel of Krishna, and that is why we also have everything in the few we are like we are the ansh of Krishna. So we are also born through his energy. So but if you realize that he's a person, then it's easy for you to accept this, that we are part and parcel, we are the servitor, and we are in the I'm forgetting that line in which Prabhupada says that the ocean drop example, that we are qualitatively like Krishna, but we are not quantitatively like Krishna. So people were in doubtful that time, and nowadays also, because people don't accept God as a person, so they don't identify themselves with Lord. And both ideas are misconceptions. So Prabhupada says here that it's not true. The idea of, now this line I don't know, because I don't know the meaning of this. And having said that, I want to ask one question here, that Prabhupada is saying that even when he's personally present, both ideas are misconceptions. So that means the Lord, I don't know, that the person can be accepted as the Lord after death, as a God after death, if he has not been accepted as a God during lifetime. I just got confused here. Prabhuji, Mataji, if you can help me understand this. Haribol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for sharing your realizations. So basically, in this particular paragraph or sentence, Prabhupada is specifically mentioning here that two things. So he's mentioning 2 points. One, he's mentioning some people, they may have this conception that Krishna was a great person, and just like in modern world, you see sometimes some, like I remember in my college days, one person was saying like this. Some sports was there, I guess. Some some sports was there, and one sportsman was really doing very well in that sports. So what he was saying is, oh, this man, he is a god. He win all the F1 race or whatever, you know. So some people have this weird thing that they even worship ordinary people, right? Big sportsmen or sports star, some weird fans. You've heard so many people think somebody as fan and they want to do anything. Basically, they're worshipping, right? So people are saying Krishna was just a little, extraordinary person, and after his death, he's made God. That is what some people can give this argument. So Prabhupada is saying that the argument is wrong. So that is one argument which people can give, right? And that, let me read the exact line. The propaganda that a very great man is worshipped as God after his death is misleading, because a man after his death cannot be made into God. So Prabhupada is saying, if he's God even before, not that after, death, he is made into God. And then the other point is mentioning, nor can the personality of Godhead be a human being even when he is personally present. And it's not that the God at some point had human traits and now he's become God. It's not that Krishna was not God before and has become God. That kind of a thing never happens. So first idea is that, oh, God, he is actually God and he is being worshipped uh, by people after his departure. You know, that is a misleading idea. And then some people may say, okay, he actually has become God, or some people have this weird, thing, that impersonalistic idea of becoming God. So Prabhupada is saying that that is never a thing, that somebody who is a human being can become God. So both these ideas are wrong. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, I was reading. Now I can understand. I actually maybe read it wrong and then got confused. Very well. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes. And Prabhuji, what is the meaning of this word, and what sense is from this sentence, the last one, the idea of and throw something this and cannot be applicable? What is this, Prabhuji?
So anthropomorphism means basically that some people can have this philosophy that Bhagwan or God is not like a human being, Krishna with two hands, two legs. This is not, this is human attributes given to God. God doesn't have two hands. God doesn't. So this is an impersonalistic idea. They do not understand that Lord has a beautiful transcendental form, and they think these are, imagined or concocted ideas. Like, some. Uh, so because of bodily conception, we do a lot of things in a bodily manner. We means humans. Like somebody is mentioning that different places, even in Christianity, the form of Jesus will be a little different based upon how the people look over there. Uh, so Jesus will be black in color, for example, in Africa. This is Jesus. Just a little idea that how much we are in bodily concept, that we are attributing that even to great personalities. Um, but but the same example, some philosophers will take that, see, even Jesus, different places they have made themselves. So even other religions also, they have also concocted the different forms of God by giving them human attributes. But actually God does not have human attributes. So that is how they will say. And they will say this belief system of attributing two hands, two legs to God, this is anthropomorphism, which means giving human characters to God. Does it make sense, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Now, yes, yes.
Yeah. So this idea, those people who come up with this, criticism about uh, giving human attributes to God is what is done, their idea is wrong, because we don't have God in only one form. We have our understanding of God is much more vast and deep than what even these philosophers could think of, because Vedic culture has all the different aspects of God, much more than what they can even think of. Ordinary people or philosophers or scientists, even they can't even think of these things, and they are there. And after all of this, it's mentioned that it's not that these forms are limited. God's forms are actually unlimited. So this is just a glimpse for you to get attracted to the beauty and the form of the Lord. But it's not limited by these. It's much more than this. So all their arguments are practically defeated by the Vedic scriptures, and that's what Prabhupada is explaining here.
Yes, Prabhuji, because we understand, we've seen, read about Krishna's different avatar as Narsimha Matsya avatar and other avatars. So it's easy for us to believe, but yes, for people, they give this argument. First of all, like telling this as a Krishna, as a supreme person, people don't understand, and for their definition of God is absolutely different. They feel that just heard somewhere कि अरे किसने देखा तो है नहीं है, तो बस कोई शक्ति ऊपर है उसको मानना ही भगवान है. but then actually accepting or meditating and realizing that yes, Krishna also when came. But Prabhuji, like Krishna, when Ram Bhagwan came in the stories, and Krishna, like he came with those four hand with that when he was born, but later when Devki Maya said that, you know, you cannot be like this and I cannot accept you like this, can you just, then he came to the some other form. So Krishna actually but God has all different forms, right, Prabhuji? Like Ram Bhagwan story also I heard that uh, uh, Kaushalya Mata said, "Oh, look at you! You are so big, and with these all these hands, what people will say? I mean, you doesn't look like a child. You really have to come as a child so that I can. Otherwise, people will not believe it. And I know you are a god, but you cannot just come like this and appear. So you have to be like like a proper human form." Um, I mean, did you get my question, Prabhuji?
So Mataji, in this particular sentence, Prabhupada is taking one particular uh, philosophy and giving a counter to it. He's not really explaining our whole philosophy, but he's making a argument to defeat that misconception, a particular kind of a misconception which people may have. So for
Yeah.
those people, they are specifically talking about any human traits. Let's say if you say hand, leg, doesn't matter, 2, 4, whatever. But there are human traits, right, given to God. That's what they'll take it as. That you're, having some human characters. That is, uh, belief system which is concocted and developed by human beings because they have hands, legs, feet. They think God has it. So that particular argument is being countered here.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to share more on this? Nirvay Prabhu, Natasha Mataji, Anand Kishori.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, to answer this question Mataji asked about anthropomorphism, can we understand that basically Prabhupada is countering that philosophy? People say that man has created God in his own image. Not God has created man. Man has made God into his own image. That we have, we believe, since we are in this form, we believe that God has such a form. So basically opposite of what it is. So we have attributed a form to God. And that is the idea of anthropomorphism. Is that something similar?
Yes, Mataji, that's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, attributing human form to God is what it is, and that's what Prabhupada is countering here. Like form of humans, or either whole form or any attributes given.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You. Anybody else would like to share anything from this shlok?
Should we read the next one?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Would someone like to read this one? Okay, I'll read. Tam imam aham ajam sharirabhajam
Tam imam aham ajam sharira bhajam
Riddhi riddhi dishtitam atmakalpitanam
हृदि हृदि धिष्ठितम् आत्मकल्पितानाम्
प्रतिदृशम् इवानैकाधारकम् एकम्
प्रतिदृशमिव एकधार्क एकम्
समधिगतोऽस्मि विधूता भेदमोहा
समधिगतोऽस्मि विधूतभेदमोह.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. Now I can meditate with full concentration upon that one Lord, Sri Krishna, now present before me, because now I have transcended the misconceptions of duality in regard to his presence in everyone's heart, even in the hearts of the mental speculators. He is in everyone's heart. The sun may be perceived differently, but the sun is one. Purport. Lord Sri Krishna is the one absolute supreme personality of Godhead, but he has expanded himself into his multiplenary portions by his inconceivable energy. The conception of duality is due to ignorance of his inconceivable energy. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.11, the Lord says that only the foolish take him to be a mere human being. Such foolish men are not aware of his inconceivable energies. By his inconceivable energy, he is present in everyone's heart. As the sun is present before everyone all over the world. The Paramatma feature of the Lord is an expansion of his plenary portions. He expands himself as Paramatma in everyone's heart by his inconceivable energy, and he also expands himself as the glowing effulgence of Brahma Jyoti by expansion of his personal glow. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita that the Brahma Jyoti is his personal glow. Therefore, there is no difference between him and his personal glow Brahma Jyoti or his plenary portions as Paramatma. Less intelligent persons who are not aware of this fact consider Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma to be different from Sri Krishna. This misconception of duality is completely removed from the mind of Bhishma Deva. And he is now satisfied that it is Lord Sri Krishna only who is all in everything. This enlightenment is attained by the great Mahatmas or devotees, as is stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19, that Vasudev is all in everything, and that there is no existence of anything without Vasudev. Vasudev or Lord Sri Krishna is the original Supreme Person, as now confirmed by a Mahajana, and therefore both the neophytes and the pure devotees must try to follow in his footsteps. That is the way of the devotional line. The worshipable object of Bhishma Deva is Lord Sri Krishna as Parthasarthi, and that of the gopis is the same Krishna in Vrindavan as the most attractive Shyam Sundar. Sometimes less intelligent scholars make a mistake and think that the Krishna of Vrindavan and that of the Battle of Kurukshetra are different personalities. But for Bhishma Deva, this misconception is completely removed. Even the impersonalist's object of destination is Krishna as the impersonal Jyoti, and the yogi's destination of Paramatma is also Krishna. Krishna is both Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma, but in Brahma Jyoti or Paramatma, there is no Krishna or sweet relations with Krishna. Krishna is both Brahma Jyoti and localized Paramatma, but in Brahma Jyoti or Paramatma, there is no Krishna or sweet relations with Krishna. In his personal feature, Krishna is both Parthasarthi and Shyam Sundar of Vrindavan. But in his impersonal feature, he is neither in the Brahma Jyoti nor in the Paramatma. Great Mahatmas like Bhishma Dev realize all these different features of Lord Sri Krishna, and therefore they worship Lord Sri Krishna, knowing him as the origin of all features. Krishna. Okay, so here Bhishma Dev is saying that he is meditating upon Lord Sri Krishna, that one Lord. So there is only one Lord, and Bhishma Dev is saying that that misconception of duality, that I have transcended the misconception of duality, that I do not have this misconception of duality. So misconception of duality, Prabhupada is explaining, means that to think that Paramatma or Brahma Jyoti is something different from Krishna. But they're all the same. It is all Krishna's parts only. It's all Krishna's expansions only. Paramatma is also Krishna's expansion. Brahma Jyoti is also Krishna's effulgence, the personal glow. And he's situated as Paramatma in everyone's heart, even in the hearts of mental speculators, Bhishma Devi is saying. He's in everyone's heart. So you may perceive the sun differently, but it's the same sun. So you cannot say that, okay, India has a different sun and the sun that we see here is different. When we see the sun, they don't. So maybe it's a different sun. No, it's all the same. It's just one. Just like there is one Lord, but there are just different aspects of Lord that people understand according to their level of knowledge or level of understanding. So all like, and we've read this before in first canto, that all the expansions, all the plenary portions, all the portions of plenary portions, all the three Purush avatars, the Paramatma, everything, all the energies, everything is coming from Krishna only. But this conception of dualities is due to the ignorance. Because we don't understand. That's why we say achintya bheda bhed. We don't say it's duality, like there is bhed. We don't say there is bhed. We don't say there is, it's all the same bhed. We say achintya bheda bhed, that it is due to his inconceivable energy, that it is all, it can be one and different at the same time. So conception of duality is due to his ignorance, due to ignorance of his inconceivable energy. And Prabhupada is quoting a couple of shlokas that foolish men think him to be a mere human being when he takes the human form, because they don't understand his inconceivable energies. So he's quoting 9.11 of Jananti Mam Mura Manusham Tanumashritam, that when I take the human form, people deride me. Param Bhavam Ajananto Mam Bhut Maheshwaram, that they are unaware of my supreme nature, Param Bhav. So they deride me. Fools deride me, he says. So Paramatma feature is also expansion of his plenary portion. And Brahma Jyoti is also expansion of his personal glow. So there is no duality. This is all different aspects of Krishna. And later on, Prabhupada is saying that Bhishma Deva is in no such misconception. He's completely transcended that misconception. Just like Krishna said in 7.19, that Mahatmas are aware of this. Mahatmas know who Vasudeva is. Right? Bahuna janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, that those Mahatmas are rare. And we know that Bhishma Dev is a Mahatma, he's a Mahabhagavad devotee, he's a Mahajan. So he and other Mahajans, the pure devotee or other pure devotees of the Lord, they are in no such misconception that there is any difference between Krishna or his energy or Paramatma. They are aware that this is all aspects of Krishna, all expansions of Krishna. And this is very beautiful paragraph that Prabhupada has explained here, that Bhishma Dev worships Krishna as Parthsarthi. So he's always remembering that form of Lord where he was driving the chariot of Arjuna. So he's always focusing on Parthsarthi form of Krishna. And gopis are always meditating on Shyam Sundar form of Krishna, which is Krishna in Vrindavan. But they're both one and same. So less intelligent people make the mistake and think that those forms are different, but actually both are same. So, and then this is also very deep statement that Prabhupada is saying, that ultimately everybody is trying to approach Krishna only, but they are approaching Krishna according to their understanding. Like an impersonalist, they are trying, their destination is impersonal Jyoti or Brahm Jyoti, right? They're aiming to merge into the Brahman, into their effulgence. So actually they're also achieving one aspect of Krishna. A yogi is meditating on Paramatma, sitting inside his heart. So that is also Krishna's expansion. And then the devotees, they're exchanging loving relationships with Krishna. That is also Krishna. The only difference is that with Brahma Jyoti or Paramatma, there can be no sweet relationships. And like Rakshita Mataji described in previous verse, that unless we have somebody to, because every spirit soul, as a spirit soul, we hanker for love mostly. And so unless we have this loving sweet exchanges, that relationship with Krishna, it is very difficult to meditate on Paramatma or Brahma Jyoti. For us having all these senses, it is easier for us to engage in service of the Lord. And you can only do bhajan or kirtan or service of a person, of a Purush, right? Which is the highest understanding anyways. So that is an easier path. Why not engage in easier path? Why not engage in all the senses in service of Krishna and have a loving relationship with the Supreme Person, who is the origin of everything, who is the origin of all these expansions and all these energies and everything. Why not have relationship with him instead of following the difficult path and trying to focus on Brahma Jyoti or Paramatma, which we cannot realize, we cannot have a relationship with. For us, it is natural to have relationship with something or somebody. If we don't have relationship with Krishna, then we'll start making relationship with people here in this world who are sure to, you know, disappoint or cheat or harm, you know. So why not have relationship with the Supreme Person instead? And Prabhupada is ending by saying that great Mahatmas, they realize all these different features of Krishna, and therefore they worship knowing him as the origin of all features. So they know, Arjun also said this in Bhagavad Gita, when he realized that Krishna, who is driving his chariot, who is his friend, his cousin, his brother, this Krishna is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he said, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum, that you are Adi Dev, you are origin of all the Devas. So you are the Godhead. So in that shloka, he says that you are the Param Purush, you are Supreme Person, you are Purush, Purusham Shashvatam, Shashvat, eternal, and you are Adi Deva. So you are the Godhead, you are the origin of all the demigods or all the incarnations, all the expansions. So Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. So there he declared that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So does Lord Brahma in the Brahma Samhita, Sarva Karana Karanam, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. He keeps saying that you are the person, you are the original person. And so all the great devotees of Lord have understood that there is no duality, that all these are just coming from Krishna. And that's all I had to share. Prabhuji, please add or correct any mistakes.
Thank you, Mataji, very much for sharing. Beautiful. Hari Bol. Anybody else would like to share anything? Otherwise, I think it's more than 9 now.
We can conclude, Prabhuji. Everybody's okay. Krishna.
All right. So tomorrow is Ekadashi in our area. So all the devotees can, be mindful of their fast breaking time in their areas.
So, Prabhuji, like Atlanta is also EST, so I can follow the same time as Michigan, like you follow, or I have to ask here in temple?
Usually, Mataji, it may be a little different in different places, but if you're unsure, you can follow any temple, or Mayapur temple is usually a good one. Everybody can follow Mayapur temple if they are not sure.
Okay.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very merciful, so wherever he may be.
Okay.
So those are the two things.
Excuse me, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You said Ekadashi is tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Prabhuji, have any idea when will be the Paran time next morning?
Yes, I can post it in the group.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So 11 times we'll chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhayascha कृपा सिंधु
सिंधु पे
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीमद्
श्रीमद्
भागवत
भागवतम की जय,
जय,
श्रील
श्रील
प्रभुपाद की
प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.